Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Stella Rose Bella. Today I want to talk about Zhang Xin Cheng, who is one of my favorite actor and singer. Just want to talk a bit about him, about like how I know about his dramas and everything, and sort of like my timeline of how I got to know this, how I found out about this actor. So he was a musical theater major, so he majored in musical theater, and also he did very well on his college entrance exam. He was like #1, and like a lot of like the schools like that he applied to, they all like accepted him. So that's sort of like his 传说 in the academic world. I feel like that's how I would describe it. The first drama that I saw Xin Cheng in is actually Young Blood, and the role that he played is Yuan Zhongxing, and I really loved his character in this drama. And I just found he was like really funny, and I don't know, I just related to his character a lot, and like the whole group, and I really, really loved the story. So I was like, I really loved it. This drama, it was recommended to me on YouTube, so it just came up on my recommended. So I had no idea who these actors were, what the story was gonna be about, so I just watched it. Another drama like later that I saw him in is actually 以家人之名 Go Ahead. In that drama, I think like I didn't like in the beginning. I really loved the storyline and how these three, siblings got together and how they became a family, like two brothers that are not blood related and and a lot of things that they went through. And I think like one thing that made me sort of like I gave up on this drama is because like how like it became one of them became like in a relationship with the sister. So I was like, what? And then like they're all like each of them have their own storylines, like very sad, and like especially for Ziqiu, the character he plays, it's like very sad because he always says he's like, why am I always the one that's like left alone? Why am I like people don't like want me and everything like that? And like I feel for his character, so I was like, you know what? I was like, Ziqiu, this Jian Jian doesn't want you. I feel like a lot of audience want you. So I was like really felt for him in that drama. And then the next drama that I saw him in is actually called The Day of Becoming You. I really, really loved that drama. It was really fun watching him portray like someone, because the male lead and the female lead, like they swap bodies, like their characters swap bodies. So like he had to portray like the female lead in like her soul is in his body. It was like really funny, and I really love that story. I just like had so much fun watching it. And his character, like his backstory for his character is like sad as well. I was like, when is he gonna have a happier, character? That's all I want to say, because I feel like a lot of roles that I see with him in is like really sad. So the next drama that I saw him in is Justice in the Dark, which I saw the first 9 episodes when it first went live, and I was really excited for this drama because I am a fan of Priest, who wrote the novel for this drama, Mo Du, and I heard that this novel was being made into a drama, so I was like really excited, and I was like, who's portraying these two characters? And I saw, oh, Xin Chen 跟付辛博 eh, and I was like, huh? And I was like, and then you could see like people took pictures of him and like his character and everything, and I was like, oh, he is that character. Because I already like when I knew about the drama and the book and everything, I was like, I want to see if they have an audio drama, and I listened to the audio drama, so I got a feel of like who these characters were before I saw them like on screen. So when I saw the drama, I was just like blown away by how it was like filmed in certain scenes, and also like I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like for me, I've never seen Xin Cheng, like obviously he got really like so skinny for this role, but also his voice, like I mean, if you notice, a lot of the times when actors they act, their voice also change for the character, and his voice is like very different, and I was just like, oh my gosh, and I was just like really excited. And then obviously because this drama also had a chance, they aired in Japan, so so people could watch it as well. So I got to finish the drama, and I'm really happy that they did this role and everything. I really, really feel for Pei Su, and a lot of things, and it was just like his character's also like really sad, and you could feel it, and I'm just like, and it really, I think the cases are really interesting, and I was like, this is such an amazing story. So obviously I have to mention the most recent drama is Archives The Nanyang Mystery, Nambudangan, and I have to say that like every time I see him in a role, I don't see sort of like, you don't see parts of like his previous role like in this character. Like every time when I see him play a different character, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's like really exciting. And I really love his character as well, Zhang Haiyan. And he's also really sad for his character because he's always like, I'm like, I'm gonna do what I want, and like, you know, I have, you know, my you know, my 海峡就是张海峡，对，海峡。You know, like I have a partner that I can lean on, I have my shifu and everything like that. And then you see him like growing because like a lot of things happened, and they're just like crying with all these characters, like what is going on? But it was like a really, really good story, and a really good role. Story-wise, I saw the scripts for this drama. I was like, why was there a lot of stuff cut from the drama? So that's like another thing. These are like the roles that I've seen him in like sort of like my timeline of his drama, his theater, his like roles. And then next, I want to talk about his recent EP called 不适应症. That is the name of his EP, or called Fitting. I think in English it's called Fitting. You could find his EP on iTunes. So for this EP, he collaborated with a lot of people that I probably heard music from them, that they collaborate with other artists. And I'm really happy that he collaborated with all these people. He did do a lot of composing for this album. The reason why I got the EP is because of one of the songs called 亲爱的蝴蝶你. I really, really love the song because in the beginning, you can hear like the piano and like sort of like the R&B like jazz, like the jazzy type of like element to it. So I like fell in love with that song. I was like, I really want to know this whole album and everything. And when I first listened to the album, I was like, oh, it's very, to me, I feel like it's very him. And he also did say in interviews that through music he can express, you know, himself and everything. Because when you're playing a character, you're just, you know, that character. But through music, it's like him. You know, he's expressing through his music and everything like that. And I was like, oh, I never really thought of it that way. In this EP, when I first listened to it, it's very him because I know that he really loves jazz and R&B, that type of music. And you can hear it in this EP. Not only that, is that he really, I guess, like, really stands by with his music. Like, this is how this EP is gonna be, and this is like my style and everything. And I'm really happy that I got to listen to this drama, this EP, because it's like really good. And I know that he recently had his concert in Shenzhen, and I saw clips of it, and I'm really like envious of people who went, because if we could teleport, I would teleport to that concert. Because that concert, not only concert, he also, maybe because he's also a musical theater major, he did a lot of like musical theater elements in that concert. So it's like really cool to see that whole performance. Like believe he said it's like, I think people said like 2 or 3 hours for this whole concert. So I was like really, really excited. So I did see an interview that he did about this EP with someone on Bilibili who was also a content creator on that platform. And he talked about some of the songs that he already released at that time. So one of them is called 喜剧, and he said he really liked that song. And he's like, he hopes that when people listen to it, like that feel, it's like you're listening to it on your bed with your earphones on, under the blanket. It's like I'm like whispering it to you. It's like that like type of tone, like pss, 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 like that type of tone. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Another song that he has is 莎士比亚, which I'm probably sure y'all probably heard of it. And he said that when he first got the demo for this song, the melody was sort of like very like city pop, and he had to change it a bit and a lot of things. And he also shared that when he was recording for this EP, he already did like the master and everything for this EP for these songs. But then like he told his staff, he's like, I feel like this is not, not right, So I'm thinking about re-recording it. He's like, people won't like be mad at me, right? But I'm really happy that his team really supports his ideas and everything. And so yes, he re-recorded like a lot of things even after they finished already. And also he talked a bit about like his musical inspirations, such as like 周杰伦, JJ Lin, 王力宏, 还有方大同, like a lot of these people. So it's like really cool to actually hear him talk about music and a lot of things. So that's like a bit about how I feel about his EP. If you want to find more of him in variety shows, or like music variety shows, you could see him on 天赐的声音, 我们的歌, and then 50公里桃花坞, that's like not really music, but it's sort of like a variety show where people just, they live together and everything. You can see that. And then most recently is 应你而来 and also Voices of Youth. These are two like most recent shows that he's been on recently. I think like for me, through everything, like watching his interviews and also like reading, he actually wrote a piece for a magazine and I read it. It was really interesting reading that piece because it was cool to see him, like his writing and everything, but also like talking about like a lot of stuff that he went through. But he pointed out at the time he was going through, I guess like he had a lot of pressure and everything and like going through a lot. His parents actually visited him and his mom could tell, like, like, you okay and everything. And before they left, he like hugged his mom and he cried. So I feel like for me, like when I watch the interviews that he's done in the past and he shares like a lot of things, like how he views about certain things, I was like, oh my gosh, I've never met someone that sort of like our channels like match. Like I was just like on the same wavelength. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I think I want to share one thing that he did for a fan. So like on Weibo, like you could message, people you follow, and obviously they limit. And someone actually messaged him, like this person was having a really bad day and like had a lot of, thoughts and everything. And he actually responded to this person. He said that, like, please, stay. And he basically along the lines saying like, like when you're alive, when you're living, being tired is sort of like the norm, but like at the same time, when you're living, if there's days when you're happy, you earned it. So please, stay for these like, those like happy days and everything. And I think when I saw that response, I actually cried because I went through that phase. And also, even though he wrote this message to someone like a while ago, but it still resonates, today. And I never thought of it like that, I guess. And it really helped me like get out of that state. Yeah, so I suggest you guys go check out like interviews that he's done. Please go check out his music, his variety shows, his dramas. And yes, so what was your first drama that you've watched from Xin Cheng? And if you check out his album, which is your like favorite song from this album. So yes, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.